talk about being perfect in my predictions. I struggle a bit in the West as I correctly predicted 2 out of 4 teams who will move on to the next round, with only one team actually winning the series in the same amount of games I predicted. But in the East, goddamn, I was perfect. All 4 winners correctly predicted, all 4 series ended in the exact amount of games I predicted. So I'd say we did a pretty good job. But finally, we are fully ready to move on with the second round of the playoffs. It has already started. In the West, Minnesota Timberwolves won Game 1 against the Denver Nuggets. But in the East, we were still waiting for someone to face the Boston Celtics. Well, wait no more. We have the last team to continue their race to the NBA championship. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers finished off the Orlando Magic in 7 games. They made a very impressive comeback in Game 7 and deservedly move on to the next round of the playoffs. It was a tough series, it was a very fun series where each game was won by the home team. But like I said, when the series is close, you always take the team with the best player in the series. And that was Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell. And he didn't disappoint in Game 7. So everything went according to the plan, everything went according to my predictions. Cleveland Cavaliers won a grueling 7-game series. On the other side, the Boston Celtics have been waiting for a while. They pretty easily gentleman swept the Miami Heat. Just for a little tiny moment it seemed that this could be a hard, grinding series, but in the end, it was just a bit too much for Miami. Butler was out for the series, and even though the Heat got hot in Game 3, Boston just showed why they were the best team in the East and pretty much in the whole NBA during the regular season. For Boston, their best player in the regular season was Jason Tatum. Unsurprisingly, he averaged 27, 8 and 5. Jaylen Brown did his job by averaging 23, 5 and 4, but they also had 2 more fringe all-star level players. I guess you can say the offseason trades worked out. Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday provided Boston just exactly what they needed. And you can't forget about Derek White, one of the most important players on the Celtics. He's not a superstar, but he just does every little thing you need. Even though Boston is quite top-heavy, they do have some good bench production. You can never underestimate Al Horford. He's older, he doesn't score that much, but he's very important to the Celtics team. And Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser have quietly had very good games shooting from the distance. On Cleveland's side, you have to start with Donovan Mitchell. This season he averaged 27 points, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. By a pretty huge margin, he was Cleveland's best player. Darius Garland was a very good complementary piece, averaging 18 points and 6.5 assists. And when you talk Cleveland, you have to talk about big men. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley have formed a very impressive and athletic front court. Isaac Okoro can defend like a madman when he has to, and it was his defense against Paolo Banchero in Game 7 that really helped turn that game around. And how about Max Strus? He might be the only player from Miami who was signed by another team and actually was good on his new team, at least in recent memory. So what we have now is a series between the first-seeded Boston Celtics and the fourth-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. During the regular season, both teams met 3 times, and Boston won 2 of those meetings. Only win that Cleveland got was by 1 point back in March. So right from the get-go, for this series, I have 2 things in mind. Number 1 is turnaround time. Boston has been resting for a bit now. They will be fresh for first game on Tuesday. Cleveland, on the other hand, just went through a grueling 7-game series against the Magic. Sometimes it can be good, as if you're in a rhythm, you don't want to lose it with too much rest in between the games. But sometimes it can also be bad, especially for a road team, which the Cavaliers will be in Game 1. You have to travel, less sleep, less rest. The legs can be heavy with just a day in between games. Number 2 is injuries. We know Porzingis most likely will be out for the second round series. That's a big loss for Boston, but they can handle it. They were 20-4 or something like that without Porzingis during regular season. On Cleveland's side, Jared Allen missed the last few games of Orlando series because of a rib injury. Will he be back? I'm sure he'll be back in this series as a whole, but will he be ready in Game 1? Who knows? He was first slated as questionable for Game 7 and then was deemed out. That was an important game. I'm sure he would have played if he could. Obviously he didn't, so will 2 days be enough of time for him to heal up so he can play? Who knows? Boston is nearly unstoppable when they play with pace and pass the ball around. When everyone is involved, they are hard to stop, and unlike Orlando, Boston actually can shoot very well. So Cleveland has to be very careful on how they approach defending Boston. At times, Cleveland left Orlando open, and they just missed a lot of shots. Boston will definitely make more of those open shots, so for the Cavaliers, they will have to defend Boston much better. For Cleveland to win this series, they will have to be perfect. They will have to make a lot of threes. Pretty much they need to get as hot as Miami Heat got in Game 3 versus Boston. They need to be better than they usually are to take down the Celtics. Donovan Mitchell needs to get some help though. In spots, every Cavalier had their moments. In Game 7 versus Orlando, Max Strus got hot for a minute, scoring 11 points in the third. Okoro started defending. Darius Garland made some key plays. I don't want to sound too negative, but it won't be enough to be good at spots. Donovan Mitchell averaged almost 30 points per game versus Orlando. Everyone else averaged 15 or less. Jared Allen averaged 17 points and 14 rebounds, but he was hurt for the last 3 games. Mitchell will need to get more help if Cleveland wants to advance. Also, Cleveland struggled without Jared Allen guarding the paint. He's close to returning, but how effective he can be here? Without Porzingis in the paint, Celtics can be playing too much ISO ball. At times, Tatum and Brown like to go one-on-one too much for my liking. They're great, they're all-stars, but if they get ISO happy, it will be that much easier for Cleveland to defend them. So key for Boston is to shoot a lot of threes, but to also have open shots. They have a lot of players who can make shots from deep. Use them. And even one-on-one, Cleveland doesn't really have the bodies to defend Tatum and Brown. Strus works hard on defense, and Okoro defended very well against Banchero in Game 7. But when you stop one of the Celtics, there's another one. And even when you stop both of them, there are still shot makers around. With everything playing out correctly, it's hard to see how Cleveland wins this one. So I'll say Boston wins this in 6. For Boston, they are facing a healthier team than they did in Miami, but still, the Celtics were the best team for a reason. They can overcome the absence of Porzingis somewhat by using Al Horford as that stretching big, and other players in every position are just better and more effective. I think the Boston moves on to the conference finals. But what do you think? Who wins and why? Can Donovan Mitchell get some more help in this series and surprise the Celtics? Please leave your comment down below. Don't forget to leave a like for the video, enable the bell notifications to not miss any videos in the future, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. This is Purple Prince, and I'm out.